Monke. How's it going, everybody? This is CyberKnight-Miky, and today we're gonna take a look at Hiya Toys Exquisite Basic Kong from Kong Skull Island. Yes, we're taking a look at the juvenile Kong. You know, the Kong from the very cool Kong movie from 2017. You know, before he was really grown up in Godzilla vs. Kong and then Godzilla X Kong, the New Empire. He was pretty much just a simple Kong that was like around under 40 meters tall, and was pretty much the king of Skull Island, and was pretty much just facing the skull crawlers in his home pretty much after his parents died and all that sort of stuff. You know, it's kind of like Batman but with an ape. Did they really just rip off Batman in this one? Anyway, what is pretty much cool about this release is that the Hiya Toys actually decided to release Kong, but instead of just the Godzilla vs. Kong, it is actually the Kong Skull Island version, which is honestly a figure that I was very anticipated because I always wanted Kong in this kind of, well, this sort of release, but we never got it from SX Monster Arts for obvious reasons. And the only one that was sort of close was NECA King Kong, but that was their own take, so I'm kind of glad that we actually got a version of this sort of Kong. And if you actually want this Kong, it is quite available, like god damn it, when it's pretty much available in the description. But do be wary, it is quite pricey. But I would say it's pretty worth it in short, but yeah, it will make sense when I literally explain it in my full point of view, or my full-on honest thoughts and such. So let's talk about this figure. Right after I mentioned that you should probably subscribe to this channel, I'm begging you, it will bring so much support if you do that. Anyway, rant's over. So, the overall painting and sculpting of this Kong is pretty damn awesome. But I am quite skeptical if this is quite 100% accurate to the overall film, since the Kong in various shots is quite a little bit more, well, angular and more pronounced. This Kong is quite spot on, but not to 100%, which is kind of, well, understandable considering it is quite impossible to get every detail right. But the details that are pretty much added on is quite outstanding, especially with the scars on this overall ape body. It is just so damn well sculpted, and let's just say that the overall fur detail that is literally on to this very Kong is just exquisite, no pun intended. And let's just say that the overall painted eyes is just very, honestly, something that very few Kongs have actually been doing very well recently is actually being better than Godzilla for the most part in SX Monster Arts, having the eyes being, well, centered. Which I will say that this Kong actually has the eyes right. But in some areas it kind of looks a little bit weird and a little bit pronounced in some shading, but hey, at least it's actually good. And while some posture looks a little bit wonky in some areas, at least it's actually trying to, well, be an actual action figure of this, well, very juvenile ape. At least it actually has some very soft, well, plastic in some areas, kind of rubbery, but not to an extent. It is sort of this kind of flexible material that you pretty much get with SX Monster Arts, which actually does help out with the overall articulation. But of course, if you want to prevent some of the articulation with this Kong, which, for example, with the legs, you have shifty, well, hip shifts, or, well, shifting at hips, where you can literally shift them up and down, which does help with the range of motion for the legs. And I will say that is quite nice. And for the overall shoulders, well, at least it is a little bit an update to the Hiya Toys Kong, considering the first Kong that was from Godzilla vs. Kong never had this kind of articulation. It was something that is quite missing. I'm pretty much glad that they actually attempted with this kind of motion, though I wish it was a little bit better, because I get it that they are trying to do their best, but they are not SX Monster Arts. Trust me, they are not. But it is a very nice attempt, that's for sure. And the feet, while also pretty well sturdy and all that sort of stuff, you gotta also be careful when you balance him, because even with this very nice detailed, well, ape-like feet, he also has sometimes trouble to stand. even when I tried to do a size comparison with some shot, it kind of folded over. Which is something that is pretty much occurring to Kong figures nowadays. But at least it actually is a very nice accurate Kong to some extent. But do keep in mind that there will be quality control issues with this Kong, especially when you consider it with some joints that feels a little bit too tight in some areas, but with some kind of silicone grease or kind of floor pop, some sort of lubricant that will soften the joints overall, or heat up the figure, that will help too. You will have a wonderful time. Now for the overall thing that might be a little bit of my point of criticism of the figure is the amount of accessories. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of accessories that I will talk about now, but I will talk about also the criticism afterwards. You will get what I mean by that. So the overall accessories, well, he pretty much comes with, well, first of all the relax hands, but he also comes with, well, knuckle hands for when he needs to do all fours. Not sure he did pretty much that much in the film, but hey, you get what you get. You also get a pair of closed fists whenever you want to do that stunning and of course the infamous pounding chest move. Whenever he's pretty much prepared for battle or when he's defending his territory, it's always awesome to do this kind of pose with this famous monster. And of course you get two grabby hands to literally wield this branch. And I'm really happy that this accessory is actually included. It is actually one of the cool parts in the film, when he literally used it as a bat against the skullcrawler. Though do be careful when you're literally moving it or using it, because yeah, what you see in this image, yeah, I kind of accidentally broke it. Though it is my fault for doing it. I kind of grabbed it in a weird area, and it was the area where there were scenes where it was pretty much connected. I suspect that they're trying to do something like, well, having it being removed and then shift back into the slots. Though mine was a little bit unfortunate. Though I don't think this is kind of necessary, considering the hands are very soft, so actually having it to grip it is actually quite easy. And of course, instead of this kind of grinning face, you also get the roaring face whenever you also try to roar at an opponent or at foes or intruders. And that's pretty much all the accessories. And the accessories that he's missing. Now you're probably wondering what he's missing. And you're probably thinking I'm gonna say, oh, you talk about the helicopter. No, it's not the helicopter. Though it would be cool that he actually comes with the accessory, just to show off that scene where he literally scales with Brie Larson before she became, you know, a vampire narcissist.
Is that like a personal attack or something?
Actually, was he always a vampire narcissist? Who knows? And it cannot be the chained propeller either, even though it would be a really cool accessory, which was a missed opportunity to be included. Hiya, do take the memo. But no, it is not that. No, the one accessory that is a little bit missing is, well, let's just say that one exception that their opponent actually got right. You see, aside from those two optional heads that this Kong comes with, you remember the SX Monsters Kong exclusive, the event exclusive. Not only does he come with the roaring face and the grinning face when he's pretty much prepared for action, which is actually the new accessory that he came with, but what other Kong figures came with, even for vanilla Kong from Godzilla vs. Kong and the vanilla Kong from the New Empire, is a neutral face. Yes, this is the biggest criticism I have with this figure. He doesn't come with a neutral face. That is the biggest missed opportunity, because you're probably thinking, well, what does it even matter? Well, here's the thing. Well, yes, there are some scenes where he's pretty much having the grinning face and the roaring face, but most of the time after the fight, he's pretty much chilled, always being relaxed. Even when the scene where they know the stars, even though the sky is pretty much happening, he was pretty much calm, just being a natural being. And when he's literally drinking, being in that pool, trying to drink some water, all his face is just neutral. And when he's looking at the main characters, he's pretty much neutral. Even in the ending, when the main characters are leaving Skull Island, neutral. And that is the face that is pretty much common with Kong. He always has a neutral face. And not having a neutral face is like Godzilla without an atomic breath. That does not even make any sense. Yes, Godzilla breath without atomic breath is optional, but he should always come with an atomic breath. That's always the case. But Kong not having a neutral face, it's something that is always a bummer. Because he is always an angry being. He just wanted to be chilling, you know? And also, one thing that I also forgot to mention is that, well, the Hiya Toys Kong also has a sculpted booty. That's something I forgot to mention. It's a nice sculpted booty, but it ain't as monster as Godzilla vs. Kong's booty. Yeah, that is always the best booty. Anyway, for size comparison, here we have a Kong next to the Hiya Skullcrawler, H.H. Monsters Kong event exclusive, and Hiya Godzilla. And also here we have it next to Godzilla 2014 by NECA. And yeah, that is actually a scale that I can work with. And also here we have it next to Doomslayer, Flametoes RC, the Snail Shell Studios Victoria, YOLO Park Scourge, and of course Huawei Optimus Prime. So overall, Hiya Toys Kong is a very good figure that I really highly recommend if it was on kind of sale. Because here's the thing, I would accept this price if it actually came with a little bit more, because without a neutral face or a kind of, well, this kind of chain propeller, which is the two accessories I will say are quite missing, yeah, it's a kind of a hard pill to swallow if this Kong is actually worth it. I expect they actually would try to do it in some kind of a repaint, but yeah, that is something that is quite a missed opportunity. But that's not to say that this is a bad figure. Oh no, the articulation is quite nice, the paint and the sculpting of this figure is quite on point, while the figure itself is not fully 100% accurate per se. It is spot on to how he quite appeared in the film, and of course he does feel juvenile. It's just that some things feels like he should have been a little bit more sharp and angle, such as the shoulders. But that's just me. But either way, if you want a Kong that from Hiya that is quite fun to pose and actually is really fun to mess with, then this is a figure for you. But if you want the best Kong, well, let's just say that Kong event exclusive is quite available at Amazon. So if you want to pick that one up, go ahead. But Hiya Toys Kong, yeah, that's actually quite a good figure. Highly recommend it. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Thank you all so much for watching, and stay tuned when I'm about to release next, well, figure in my lineup. Well, only time will tell when that will happen. But until then, I'll see you all next time.